Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst just gave us a draft preview. I'm going to break that down for you guys in this video. Speaking of the draft, that's only a week and a half out, 8 p.m. on a Thursday. I'm going to be going live on this channel. I really hope you guys join me there. It's going to be super fun and interactive. You guys will be able to leave your comments. We're going to be able to have some good laughs, see what happens and transpires within our division. There's a lot of big things happening. The Bears have 2 picks in the top 10. I'm going to have some good laughs there. I'm really hoping I have some good laughs there. But yes, at the same time, the Lions, they're looking to get a DB. They're looking to strengthen their secondary. So we're going to be able to see that in this year's draft. And also, will the Minnesota Vikings trade up for McCarthy? We're going to be able to break all of that down. Again, join me live, 8 p.m. Thursday. We're going to be doing the draft here on this channel. Okay, so Packers last season, they were the youngest team in the league, making some history last year. They're going to have the chance to do that same thing, have that same distinction, being the youngest team yet again with 5 picks in the top 100. Currently on the roster, there's only one guy over the age of 30, and that's Preston Smith at 31. So should the Packers keep all of their 5 picks in the top 100? That's only going to be the second time in Packer history in 18 years that the Packers have had 5 picks in the top 100. Last to do that was Ted Thompson in 2006. And if you remember, they got AJ Hawk with that first pick. So I'm super excited to see what happens, what direction Brian Gutekunst goes. If there ever were a year for the Packers having 11 picks going into this draft to move up into the top 10, this would be the year. I'm not suggesting that they're going to do that. Brian Gutekunst kind of tips his hat, lets us know what he's thinking as far as being able to trade as far as up to the top 10. Let's see what he had to say. It says right here, he was quoted as saying on ESPN, I think it's very expensive to do that, meaning trade up to the top 10. For what you have to give up to get up that far, you've got to give up a lot. And unless it's a quarterback of a rare player, probably like a Marvin Jones Jr., I think you have to be careful there. You guys know the numbers, what it takes to get from back 20s up to the top 10. You're giving up quite a bit. And you may think at the time that it's the right thing to do, but if it's a quarterback, there's some justification behind that because of how important that position is. But to give up those kind of picks, you're going to have to do that to get into the top 10, which is probably going to be future picks. And for that to transpire down the road, you don't know what you're going to need. So for me, it's never really made a whole lot of sense. I love that Brian Gutekunst, he's super transparent as to what he's thinking. We know he values his draft picks. We know that he values future picks and all of that. So for the Brian Gutekunst to be able to move up into the top 10, that is probably not going to happen. He just tipped his hat and let us know, hey, listen, unless something rare comes along, which this year, that's not going to be the case. We don't need a quarterback. As he stated, really the only way that you would do that, the only reason why you would do that would be to get a quarterback or a guy with rare talent. I think that guy has rare talent is Marvin Jones Jr. However, we are already set at the wide receiver position, so we don't need to invest a whole lot there. So we have been going the route of defense. Okay. I don't see anything changing there. Packers changing defensive coordinators from Joe Barry to Jeff Hafley, switching schemes from a 3-4 to a 4-3. It wouldn't surprise me to see Brian Gutekunst go defense. Okay, so if the Packers hypothetically were to trade up, this is the only scenario which I see making sense for Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers. If they were to do that, if Brian Gutekunst were to move up in trade, I think it would be with Seattle. And that would be the Packers would have to give up their first round pick, their 25th, their second round pick, the 58th one, and probably a 6th round or maybe even a 5th rounder to move up to get Seattle's 16th pick and 118th pick, which would be a 4th rounder. What would they have to give up, or why would they even want to do that? um, Cooper DeJean. That's the only reason I can think of that the Packers would want to move up. And if they were to do that, it would be at 16 with Seattle. That's the only scenario which I see the Packers moving up, and which team would be willing to cooperate with them at that. And I think it would be Seattle. If that's the case and the Packers do trade to get up, then obviously Brian Gutekunst, will lose out on having 5 picks in the top 100. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Do you want Gutekunst to trade up, even if it were with the scenario that I just laid out for Cooper DeJean? Leave your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. I personally would rather the Packers sit tight. They've got a whole lot of areas they need to address: left tackle, middle linebacker, secondary help, a whole lot that they need to do. Middle linebacker is a big need for the Packers heading into this year's draft, and there's some talent out there, so the Packers need to utilize that with picks that they've got. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Go Pack, go.